everybody. My name is Mark, and I just want to talk to you a little bit today about the recent stroke that I experienced on the left side of my body, and small stroke, and then just like, what am I doing to recover? A lot of people have asked me what happened, and so I'll walk through that a little bit. And then, since then, how am I doing? What's going on with me physically, emotionally, and spiritually? So I just want to share a little bit about that. So just to go back to the beginning, on September 24th, Mary Jane and I were driving to Detroit from Grand Rapids, Michigan, 2-hour drive roughly, to attend a pro football game of the Lions against my favorite pro football team, the Atlanta Falcons. The game did not go well, and I did not feel well the whole time. I was lightheaded. In fact, as we walked from the car to the stadium, I just was really struggling with feeling lightheaded. And then during the game itself, I was having a hard time, just not doing well. And the doctor said, listen, I want you to go. He took an EKG. He said, I think you're having a stroke. I want you to go right now in an ambulance to Henry Ford Hospital. So they put us in an ambulance, and we're roaring through, the sound's on, Mary Jane's in the front seat, and we're just trying to figure out, hey God, what are you doing in all this? We get to Henry Ford Hospital. We're laying in the hallway for a long time. Henry Ford Hospital is like a MASH unit. I mean, there were just gurneys everywhere in the hallways of all these poor people, a lot of homeless people and others just waiting to be seen. We were in Henry Ford Hospital for about 17 hours in a triage area, never admitted to a room. And I really want to give a shout out and praise to the people there, but they were so overworked. They took good care of us. EKG, all this. They were getting ready to do an MRI, and we just begged them to go home. We were there all night. Mary Jane was sitting in a folding chair all night, trying to sleep. And so as we began to leave, I began to feel they were going to let me go back to Grand Rapids, 2 hours away. I began to feel this numbness in my left foot, and I just thought my foot went to sleep. It was a painful numbness. And then on the way home, that 2-hour drive home, that numbness just crawled up the left side of my body. First, the outside of my calf, then the outside of my thigh, my rear end, just moving up all the way to the top of my head, right here above my left ear. Just this numbness everywhere. We got home to Grand Rapids. I just said to MJ, just let me lay down. I've got to sleep. I got to rest. I did that for about an hour. I woke up, felt horrible. Called the doctor. They said, go to emergency right now. We went to emergency, Butterworth Hospital in Grand Rapids, and they immediately admitted me. 2 o'clock in the morning, they woke me up and took me to an MRI. The next day they said, you had a small stroke in this medulla area at the bottom of your brain on the right side near the spinal cord. And so there I was, just in the hospital and thinking, man, I'm not that old, I thought I was in pretty good shape, and they just told me I had a stroke. So I was in denial. I couldn't believe it. I was really in shock. So we got out in a couple of days. I had trouble walking because I can't feel the bottom of my left foot very much at all. And so I've been in physical therapy, occupational therapy. Physically, I would say that I'm improving a lot. I mean, people who watch me walk can't tell that I have all this numbness, and it's really an irritating numbness. I can't even explain it, but it's pretty bad. They're giving me some medicine to cope with it. So far it hasn't helped a lot to take away those symptoms. It's just very, very irritating and frustrating. I feel it all the time on my left side. So physically, I'm getting better. They don't know if this numbness will ever leave. They think they'll know more after 3 to 6 months, but they can't say if those symptoms will ever leave. Emotionally, man, I've really bottomed out a lot of times. I've kind of struggled with feeling depressed. I've been angry with God. Like I said, I was in denial. It's like when you have a loss, you go through those steps of grief. Denial was big for me. Angry with God. I'm like, God, what's going on here? I have so much in ministry I want to still do. And questions like, will I ever be able to travel to the Middle East anymore? Will I be able to write those 2 books that are on my heart that I still want to write? And then just wondering, like, mentally, because I'm still kind of struggling mentally in certain ways, wondering, is this going to lead to dementia or Alzheimer's? So I've had all of that, you know, emotionally, and just struggling up and down emotionally. I want to just say that my wife, MJ, Mary Jane, has been amazing in this whole thing. She's not once said to me, Mark, I'm sick of hearing about your stroke. I don't want to hear anything more about it. She hasn't done that one time. She's so stable, she's so solid in my life, and I'm so thankful God gave me Mary Jane and this 45 years of marriage. I think this has even brought us closer together, at least for me it has. I'm so thankful to have her as my number one helper and my best friend. And so that's it emotionally. And then spiritually, I just, that's been the hardest thing. You know, even in the hospital and for a few weeks, I just couldn't find God. I couldn't experience Him. And finally, I've had some breakthroughs just recently. And Psalm 10:1 really helped me. The psalmist said, "Why, O Lord, do you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble?" I mean, have you ever felt like that? Like, God, where are you? You're hiding. You're not visible. And then Psalm 13:1, David wrote this psalm. The first was a why, and this is a how long. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? And so the whys and the how longs have been part of my spiritual struggle. Just last weekend, we were with some friends, Dwight and Joy, and they told us about a dear friend of theirs that was a chaplain in the military for 30 years and then a colonel. Recently, he had a bad stroke. And so it affected his side, his arm, his leg, his mouth. And you know, I haven't had any of that. And so I just think I need to really thank God and have gratitude in my heart for what I do have, and not be so upset with God about what I don't or what I might not have. And so I just want to encourage any of you who are watching this to look for Jesus in the hard times of your life. I mean, maybe you're not feeling Him, you know, but He's there. He's been coming in little spaces for me. He reminded me of the verse when He said to Peter, Peter, Satan has demanded to sift you like wheat. He's demanded permission, but I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail. And then just one more thing before I end. I was thinking, the Lord reminded me of Hebrews, speaking about Jesus. And it says that about Jesus, that in the days of His flesh, He offered up prayers. This is Hebrews 5:7. In the days of His flesh, in other words, when He lived on the earth, He offered up prayers and supplications with loud cries and tears to Him who was able to save Him from death, and He was heard because of His reverence. And it touches my heart to think of Jesus crying in His agony, in His pain that He struggled with, because He lived a human life, and He struggled and He cried, and he cried out to God. And then the chapter before that says, we don't have a high priest who's unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. My closing verse for you guys. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. And so to all of you who've asked about how I'm doing, our family, my family, our relatives, our friends in Jordan that we love, Rami and Rayad and Jamal, and our Syrian refugee friends there, especially Maher and Hassan, and my dear sister Amber here in the States, always asking, my 98-year-old mother Donna. I mean, so many people have reached out. Different pastors have come to see me, Pastor Pete and Pastor Chris in Grand Rapids. So I'm thankful to God. I have gratitude. I have a long ways to go. I don't know where this is leading or where it's going. I'm going to take a sabbatical and try to figure out things for my body and my mind and my heart. But I want to encourage you guys out there, in any dark night of the soul that you have, Jesus is still there. He promises He'll never leave you. He'll never desert you. You may not feel Him. It may be super dark, Don't quit. Don't let go. He'll come find you. He'll give you those little glimpses that he's been